Welcome, everyone. Good morning. So we're going to get started. My name is Bianca Michuda, and I am the Community Engagement Specialist for the Development Services Department. And we really appreciate you all being here. And before we get started, I just want to quickly review our engagement format for today's meeting. We have 1 hour set aside for today's program. And we're going to start with a presentation and close with a Q&A session. Questions can be posted in the Q&A bank by selecting that option at the bottom of your screen, and you can do that at any time during the presentation, or they can be asked in person at the end of the session by using the raised hand function, which is also at the bottom of your screen. And if you're having any issues with either of those functions, please feel free to chat one of our hosts today, our panelists, and we'll help troubleshoot any issues that you might be experiencing. And while we hope to be able to answer all of your questions, for those that we don't have the information for, we will post a follow-up response. And I would also like to note that this meeting is being recorded, and you will all receive a link to the presentation and the recording later. And with that, I'll go ahead and introduce Kara Weinstein, who is going to kick off our presentation and program today.
Great, thank you, Bianca. Hey, everybody. Yes, my name is Kara Weinstein, and I am an associate project manager here in the city of Boston in DSD, and specifically in the Public Projects Division. So we are here today to give y'all an overview of what it is that we do in our division. So we're going to go our roadmap for today. Who are we? We'll go over the goals of the program, process, scheduling, checklists, and Bluebeam, and then we'll get into questions at the end. All right, so let's go ahead and get in. Who are we? Okay, so yes, we are in DSD, and our goal is to permit site plans. But we want to make sure that you know that we are working across partner departments. We've got reviewers that can speak to the code for all of these different divisions and the different disciplines. So we want you to know that you are receiving complete reviews when you work with our teams, right? We know, I mean, if you just look at this list, look at how many different people you need to coordinate with in order to get answers to clear your comments, to get your site plan. It's a bit of a cumbersome process. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of interconnection. And we are here to help make sure that you are taking your Tylenol and your Tums for family dinners and not for trying to get your permits, right? So just to let y'all know, we are working across all of these departments to make sure you're getting the best answers. And also, not only do these folks give you guys information about your plans with regards to code, but they'll also advise you on any ancillary processes such as ESPAs, SERs, AULCC, license agreements, etc. So we are definitely here to provide full service for site plan permit approvals. Right. And what projects do we work on? Well, this is public projects. So that means that we are working on projects that are city-owned assets or different infrastructure buildings, whatnot, that are publicly funded. So we're talking about critical infrastructure, such as the Walnut Creek Wastewater Treatment Facility. We're talking about schools. So whenever there's a big bond package that comes through, all of those projects get sent to us. The convention center, the airport expansion, parks, Barton Springs Road Bridge, Austin Light Rail, just to name a few of these types of projects. When you submit a project, we'll help you determine if for sure you are publicly funded or not, if you qualify for our process. All right. Going into goals, why did we set up this division? Why did we do this? So we opened up public projects in June of 2023. So we are still fairly new when it comes to being an open division. But we noticed that there were a few things that we identified that we could do a little bit differently in order to reduce the amount of Tylenol and Tums you need in order to get your permits. So we want to shift the paradigm as far as how you work with DSD reviewers in order to get your permits approved. So the number one thing you'll hear me say all of the time, we are here to facilitate collaborative conversations between design teams and City of Austin subject matter experts. The goal is to make sure that we have clear communication. We've got conversations that are not just code, plan, but how do you work through that? How do you get guidance on clearing those comments? We also want to make sure that we're providing teams with consistent review expectations. You'll see here once we get to the process slide that we are trying to make sure that you're working with the same reviewers, right? So consistent analysis of the code, consistent application of the code. And also we are trying to provide consistent timelines. And you'll see once we get to the process slide how we are helping to do that. Again, we're collaborating across the partner departments, and we host inclusive meetings. What we do is we host these consultations that are live with design teams, with reviewers, so that way you can talk to each other, right? And we can bring in extra folks if there's a specific design need, or you can bring in your drainage engineer in addition to your project manager. We want to make sure everybody is involved who can help progress the site plan, right? In our meetings, we want to start talking about waivers, variances, AMOCs, AECs, all of those things throughout our consultation, so that way you have guidance on what you're supposed to be doing. All right. More goals. We want to utilize the consultations to reduce the amount of back and forth communication with staff. Okay, this is a big one, right? You get your comment report, you're trying to work through it all, and all of a sudden now you've got a question. How do you get a hold of that reviewer? How do you set up time? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? Is it a Teams meeting? Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? What do we do? Public project staff, we are here to reduce that back and forth chasing folks down for answers. We are going to help you set up meetings, and we're going to facilitate those conversations. So that way you're coming to our consultations and you've got all the answers. Maybe not. If we need to do follow-ups, we can, but that is why we are here, to make sure that we are making those connections between teams, design teams, and code reviewers. This is my favorite tagline to say. We are here to work through the heartburn issues. So many times you will get a bunch of comments that are administrative, that are clerical in nature, and you're like, yeah, cool, got it. But what if you have a design element that is in an erosion hazard zone, or you've got heritage trees? What are those things that keep you up at night that are going to potentially cause stickiness in getting through permit approvals? That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk through those heartburn issues. Increased transparency. Everybody likes transparency, right? We want you to definitely understand where your project is in the overall process. We record meetings. We provide meeting minutes, and we also provide next steps. What are you supposed to do next? And we try to make it crystal clear to make sure that you can hand those next steps to any junior team member, so that way everybody on your team is also prepared to make sure that the plan set works its way through to approval. We also have coordinators assigned to each of the projects. That means that you'll have a SPOC, or a first point of contact on Pupper, that will be there to answer your calls, answer your emails, and to assist you with tracking down information. We're also here to make sure that we are guiding you towards the right, or the most correct permit path for the project. Sometimes that is a full-blown site plan, but if we can identify components of your projects that could qualify for an exemption or a correction or a revision, we're going to help you do that. the best permit path isn't always the most lengthy or the most expensive. So that's what we are here to help you figure that out. And then again, as we're working through the plan sets, working on the possibilities for waivers and variances and assisting you in the next steps for those types of items. Putting together the backup documentation, right? All right. Moving on to our process. How do we do this? All right. So the way that we do it, you'll see that we have a series of meetings that we set up. We start with initiating the project. This is where, and there will be, we'll be able to provide this process flowchart, but you go to our public projects review website, hosted on the City of Austin's website, and you click on a link and you fill out a really quick initiation form. And what we're looking for on that form, we need a contact name and email so we can get back to you. And then what kind of project is it? And a couple of sentences about the project. Give us an idea of the LOC, gives an idea about scope, give us the address of the project. So that way we can go in and do our due diligence and really help guide the project through our process. After the project is initiated, then we, as the PUPR staff, we determine if the project will have a concept orientation or a project orientation. And the difference between these meetings is that a concept orientation is for a program of projects. For example, AISD. So they had their bonds approved. They come in, they've got 40 plus schools. How do they tackle permitting upgrades, modernization upgrades for 40 schools? Another example would be the airport. They've got 20, 30 years worth of expansion and development. And so we meet with them to discuss the larger projects and how to identify the individual projects within the program. So that's what a concept orientation is. And then we also have a project orientation. This is specific to a project. This is where we want to really understand the scope of the project. We want y'all to help us identify the permitting hurdles, the heartburn issues, right? And what are we going to be facing as we work through the process? Identify any unique site challenges. Like I said, erosion hazard zones, critical root zones with heritage trees, critical water quality zones, etc. SOS ordinance. And in this orientation, this is when we will help to identify that best permit path. So for both of these orientations, once you initiate the project, then you'll receive an email from your assigned coordinator, and they will set up the meeting for you. All right, so next in the process, after we do an orientation, we're going to go into a series of iterative design consultations. These are those live meetings that I talked about. This is where you get an opportunity to meet with all of our code reviewers and ask questions. So how does it work? All right, so first of all, you're going to see this symbol. This is the Review Bluebeam logo. This is the first benefit to our project or to our program, and it's a little bit different from standard LUR site plan approval. And what you're going to do is all uploads will be through Bluebeam. And what we found is that it's an industry standard. So many folks use it and are familiar with it. It allows us to host sessions where multiple reviewers can be working on their comments at the same time. And one of the benefits of that is that, let's say Watershed has a comment about a design element, and their comment informs the drainage water quality review comment. So Bluebeam has that ability for those collaborative conversations, right? It's also a lot easier to upload to, there aren't the file limits that everybody knows and loves with uploading to ABC. So that's why we use Bluebeam. Well, there's another reason why we use Bluebeam, and I'll talk about that once we get here. So how do these design consultations work? So y'all will upload plan sets to the Bluebeam, and I'll do a quick QC, make sure everything looks good. Oh, real quick, I want to back up. Once we have the project orientation, we set up a Bluebeam project for you. And in the recap email, you will receive a link to that project. That's where we save the recorded videos, notes, copies of email communications that go back and forth, and all of your plans. All right, so y'all upload here. And once we know that payment is received, then we schedule an early design consultation. So the way that that works, y'all upload, we do the QC, we distribute to our reviewers. They get 14 business days to perform their review and to register their comments. After that, I will create a feedback summary report that will have all of the comments. We will also save a copy of the redlined plan set that you submitted into the project, so that way your team can go into the plan set and do a page turn, go through and see where the comments were, what were the reviewers looking at when they made the comment, right? This kind of review process allows for spatial awareness of where the comment came from and what they were looking at. So here in the early design consultation, you'll see a list of reviewers, review disciplines specifically. We've identified that these review disciplines, their comments tend to have the most impact on plan design, and they also work together. They also have ancillary processes that tend to have long lead times, such as Chapter 26 with PARD, or ESPAs with Austin Energy, working through their design process. So, and we know that with drainage, water quality, those comments can significantly impact a design, right? All right, so we go in, we host the design consultation. What's next? So from here, again, highlighting Bluebeam, we want the design teams to go in, grab that marked up plan set, the red lines, and start blue lining it. We want y'all to reply to comments directly in Bluebeam. It retains spatial awareness. It also helps make sure that the reviewers understand that their comments were responded to, right? Okay. From here, rinse and repeat. So you take the comments, you respond to all of them, start gathering additional documents that are going to be required for the next consultation. And then we start the process over again. Something to note about the mid-design is that we include all of the reviewers from the early design, and then we add these reviewers. It's the remaining utilities, city arborist, and watershed and addressing. Again, I mentioned this earlier. The reviewers that you meet in each of these design consultations, they are going to be the same folks. So if you introduce your plans at early and you've got a complicated design element, the same folks that you're working with in here, they're going to be the same folks over here. So, and that will carry through all the way into formal review. So once again, consistency, continuity of code analysis, and plan review. After the mid-design, rinse and repeat. We do the same thing. Y'all will provide comment responses, backup documentation, and you upload once again to Bluebeam all of those responses and a new clean plan set. And that's when we go into this step, the pre-submittal and completeness check. So this is a process that we are running concurrently. So our pre-submittal consultation is meant to be crossing the T's, dotting the I's. We're really hoping that at this moment in time, you are not making any significant design changes. We are just cleaning things up a little bit, cleaning up callouts, making sure the proper general notes, the signature blocks, those types of things. That's what we're hoping we are addressing at this level. At the same time that we distribute for pre-submittal, we are also going to distribute for completeness check. We do that so that way the completeness check results will be delivered to you in 10 days, 10 business days, and that will be prior to when the pre-submittal feedback summary will be provided. And the idea there is that you can bring the completeness check comments as well as the pre-submittal comments to that consultation, and you can work through everything with our review staff in the live meeting. Yeah. Okay, so thinking about this, the early, the mid, and the pre-submittal with completeness check. Also, what does that mean? We like to use early, mid, and pre-submittal. You can also think of it as 30, 60, and 90. We want to be working with the teams as they are achieving their development milestones. And the goal is that by the time you get through this pre-submittal consultation and that you're going into formal review, you've cleared all the comments. And you're at a point where we just need to go in and do that formal review, and we're able to get that permit into approval. Now, what that means is that as much as we are working with our reviewers to make sure they're providing really in-depth and comprehensive code review, we're asking applicants as well to provide in-depth, accurate, and comprehensive responses to all of their comments. The goal of this whole program is to clear comments as you're working through your designs. So that way, by the time you get to 100%, you don't have to reopen the plan sets, file a change order with your designers or your civil engineer, and spend more time, possibly more money, going and redesigning. We want to work with you as you're going through your milestones. After you are finished with the pre-submittal consultation and you have cleared completeness check, you'll see that completeness check and formal review are a different color. And that's because we are following formal processes regarding formal timelines, the 45 days to clear completeness, and then 45 days to enter into formal review. The only thing that is different from the standard process is Bluebeam. You will always upload to Bluebeam. All right. I will also let you know that these dollar amounts are based on fiscal year 25 amounts, and that could be subject to change as we move through each year. All right. If you've worked with me before, you'll know that this is usually where I ask for questions, but we're going to wait for questions until the very end. All right, so next up, scheduling. How do we do this? Okay, so when I say that the reviewers have 14 business days to perform their review, that's for them to perform the review. Once they're done with that, I lock down their session, I run a report, and I send that out to the teams, okay? We also want to make sure that your team is having at least one business day, if not a couple business days, to digest the comments and to prepare questions and comments, digging through those heartburn issues. So that way our live consultations will be really beneficial. So that could mean that there could be a couple of days after that 14 business day review. So what we do is after they're done with the reviews and I've sent out your feedback summary, then we're going to have a consultation. These consultations are chosen once you upload your plans and I am distributing. I come and I find the very next placeholder that is available for the project, depending on what status it's at in our process chart. So you'll see that we do earlies on Mondays, mids on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Wednesdays are devoted to pre-submittals. We do not host consultations on Fridays. We will assign these to y'all and send out the team's Outlook invites. And you are more than welcome to forward those invites to whomever you want to on your team. Placeholders are first come, first serve. So we highly encourage all design teams and applicants, communicate with your coordinator. Give them a heads up of when you think that you're going to be uploading plans for your next consultations. That way they can be prepared and they can find that next placeholder for you. All right. And then just something to note, if there's an upload past 2 p.m., it'll be scheduled on the next business day. Love it when y'all upload Fridays at 5 p.m. I know exactly what I'm doing for my Friday evenings when y'all do that. I know that's how it works, and I'm here for it. All right. What do you need to provide to have an effective consultation? We give you checklists. When we set up the Bluebeam project for you, right after the orientation, within each folder for the consultation, there will be a document for best practices, and there will be a document for checklists. These checklists, this is what we want y'all to provide. Best practice, when you're going through, go through the checklist and mark off. Did you include it? Is it there? Yes, yes. Is there maybe a document that doesn't apply depending on what kind of project you have? Cross it out and write NA. Let us know that you didn't provide something. It just, it helps make sure that y'all are providing complete packages so that way we can provide complete reviews. And they are targeted for each level of consultation. So the early is just a little bit different from the mid, which is just a little bit different from the pre-submittal and completeness check. And we do check for signed checklists. Your coordinator will not let you move forward if you have not provided a signed checklist. In addition to those signed checklists, I mentioned before that we want y'all to provide comments to the previous consultations plan set. If you do not provide comments, it will delay the distribution for your next consultation. Again, the idea here is that we are clearing comments. We want to get to 100% with nothing left out there on the drawing board, right? So we're keeping all of ourselves honest as far as making sure that we respond to all the comments. All right, making comments in Bluebeam. Why are we doing this? It's contextual. I've mentioned this before. There's an element of spatial understanding when we see comments in Bluebeam and then we see replies in the Bluebeam. I will say that we did not invent this. We took a page out of Austin Waters' book. So they are working in this capacity already. And so this is just a continuation of the processes that they already employ. It reduces misunderstanding. It minimizes the chance of misinterpretation. There's an audit trail. We can go back and make sure not only did the applicants respond to every comment, but also making sure that the reviewers aren't duplicating comments. We want to make sure, excuse me, that they know what they already commented on and that they can move forward. It's also pretty easy to navigate. Excuse me. Always great when you're on camera and you get the throat tickles. What does it look like if you haven't used it before? So you'll see that a reviewer will leave a redlined comment. And what you'll do as an applicant, you'll come in, you will reply to that comment, and then we'll see, oh, comment and response. It also makes it really easy for all of us to go in and sort reviews by the reviewer. Sorry. So that way you know that you can go in, and Jaren is our Austin water reviewer. When you are working with your water, your pipeline engineer, you go into the Bluebeam, you sort by all of Jaren's comments, and you can work through the comments one by one. And if you have not done this before, what you do is you go in and you see a redlined comment. You come over here, you just right click, reply, type in, makes it easy. It also means that you don't have to torture one of your interns and have them go in and type up all of the comments from a report and then type up other comments. No more torturing the interns.
Are there any other closing words. I just want to thank everyone for being here, but do our panelists have anything else they'd like to say as we sign off?
I just wanted to say
Okay.
thank you as well.
Yeah, thank y'all for being here. Let us know how we can help your projects.
All right. Thanks all. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.